The other thing we're going to do is train our officers on public relations. How do we deal with the public? And it's not good how we have in the past. So we're going to try and fix that as best we can. Okay? The other thing is we're going to review our own policies. One of the things I found out is that in our policies, it states that you get one warning and then you get a ticket. Our officers have been very generous and given multiple warnings. So we're going to review those policies and enforce them. The last thing is we're going to take care of the administration, get some training for our chief. He was thrown into this position, and so we're going to work on that. Now, the thing that you'd all like me to tell you is how we're handling the officer himself. I can't do that. I know, yeah. Personnel matters are not public record. So the only one that can tell you what's going on with the officer and what disciplinary actions, if any, were taken is the officer himself. And that's it. So that's my suggestions to the council. And I'd like your thoughts and your suggestions.
I agree. I agree with what we discussed about that training with the animals and everything. It was quite a good program.
Okay. Don?
I agree too.
Any other things you'd like to see? Or? You're a former chief,
I think you pretty well came in on that, the training of meeting the public.
And maybe making sure this isn't like a one-time thing.
You know,
Maybe biannually
Continue training.
continuous training, but especially as it gets to
Okay. All right. Ruby?
I agree on the training. Training needs to be taken care of and needs to be documented.
yeah,
We
everything.
need to have yearly training. We gotta start a paper trail. That's
May I
all.
ask a question?
Actually, not right now, thank you. Bud? Some extra training on? Okay. Yeah. Just because I can't tell you what we're doing to the officer doesn't mean we're not doing anything with the officer. I just can't share it with you. Now, your question?
Dealing with the new training you were speaking of, the dog training, when you were explaining it to everybody, you said that the officer, it would be an option? Or is this gonna be mandatory?
No. The sharing what goes on with the officer himself, it's his option whether he shares that.
No, I'm talking about the training.
Oh, the training will be mandatory for all of our officers.
Mandatory.
Yes,
Oh.
not just one, all of
It'll
our
be
officers.
optional to anybody else in the community.
Yeah, like say if Jerome wants to send an officer over to be involved in the training, that's fine. If
Okay.
Twin wants to do the same thing. Because as I found out, they don't do that here. And it just, I guess it just kind of shocked me when I found that out.
In fact, we found
So
out
you
they don't
don't
do
do
that most
nothing,
places in
you
the
just go
country.
shoot the dog, right? So
Excuse me?
you don't do nothing, you just go shoot the dog, right?
No, that's the whole point of the training, sir.
That's the point of getting rid of the officer, don't you think?
I can't discuss those things.
Because you're not doing nothing, that's why. You're not discussing it because you're not doing nothing.
You're welcome to your opinion.
I got my opinion,
Yes,
and it ain't over yet,
that's fine, thank you.
okay?
What about mandatory training to have the officers not be such a bully and
We did
bully
cover that.
people?
That's part of
That's
it.
what the real issue is.
Well, right, and that was just my second point on training, was dealing with the public and public relations. Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't that kind of come in with common sense when you're a public servant? That you should be fully respectful of your clients?
Well,
I mean, come on. Everybody here is upset about this. Everybody needs an
And they're
answer.
not doing nothing about it.
Everybody's hurt by this. This is an outrage. You know, answers need a response. You guys aren't giving us a response.
Yeah.
His
That lady came to
actions
my door
are
wanting
not
me to vote for
justified.
her, And I said I would, and now she's
We're
not
following
doing
the law.
nothing about it.
Well, give us action.
You guys did say today was the day we got our answer.
Yes.
That's what you
We
said.
didn't get no answer.
This is the only answer I can
Just a
give.
runaround.
It's just a
Yes, sir.
circle.
Okay, you quoted the public records, or public information. Is public information include, knowing whether or not the officer is still employed by Filer?
His position has not changed as of this point.
Okay.
So he could be patrolling.
No, his position has not changed as of this
Still on
point.
paid leave.
So what is his position?
He's on administrative leave.
Getting paid, huh?
Yes, sir, he is.
Yeah, for doing nothing, sitting on his ass.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm hearing this right, you're saying that we as the people are compelled to pay his and all of the rest of the salaries, but we cannot know what the disposition of their employment is?
Correct, at this point.
Then what's the point of you?
There is no point in him, he does nothing.
Yes.
Hey, so no matter what, I know everybody's frustrated. I'm Joe Maloney, but take your times, introduce each other so we know who's talking to who too. You know, it's a city meeting, so let's be respectful about that. So I agree that, you know, the citizens should know personally where this stands. You know, especially since, you know, we are paying for all this stuff. And if you can't tell now, at least tell when the action is taken, so we do know. I personally was frustrated about the thing a little bit too. I'm sorry I couldn't be here Tuesday for that. I had other obligations I had to fulfill. I don't know. My biggest concern too is the last two meetings, you've left citizens outside. And I know the first time was because you had a vote. I don't know about the second time, but I personally am frustrated with that, because those are the people that vote us in and you in, and to have them wait outside is just irresponsible in my eyes.
But we actually
So-
let them come in and out as they needed to.
The building has an occupancy limit.
Yeah, but you knew there was gonna be a bigger crowd, probably should've put it somewhere else, in my opinion, it's just my opinion.
I understand.
So, that's just where I stand with that, and that's all I gotta say right now, thanks.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Matthews with Times News. I was wondering about have you totaled what the cost of the investigation is? Is that something that's,
I have not.
okay.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Right, McNally. So after the total cost of that investigation is, I mean, this is ridiculous on the cost, I'm sure. Who's gonna be responsible for that? I mean, Hassani still isn't here. He's the public guy who's supposed to be on trial. I mean, if it was me personally, I'd be trying to clear my name. That's just showing responsibility
I understand.
and kind of being a coward, isn't he?
Sir, you're entitled to your opinion as well.
I'd like to hear yours.
I can't give mine. So, we are bound by laws. And I know it's frustrating.
But isn't his? I mean, he's an officer of the law, serving the public. We're concerned about our safety, and we should be able to know, in some form or fashion, what the disposition of this officer is.
Right, currently, it hasn't changed.
Okay, I would say we demand to know when he's put back on the force. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be an outrage in this whole town. I mean, I can tell you that, you know, we have almost 13,000 likes on our page, but 3,000 of those are from between Buell and Filer. There's 3,000 people that have liked the Get Officer Hassani Out of Town page. That's a lot. That's like most people. I mean, I could take a snapshot of that and show everyone that. When I looked at that information, I was kind of shocked. I knew most of those people had to be from out of town because there's just not that many people here. Right. But to see 3,000 between Buell and this town, I was like, wow, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of concerned people.
Right.
And we came here today because you guys said you were going to give us answers, and you're giving us absolutely nothing.
I've given you the answer I can give.
So what's the next step?
Well,
Is he going to be retrained? Is that what you're saying?
he's part of that training, yes.
So he is not going to suffer any consequences.
I'm not saying that.
He's just going to get retraining. I mean, that's what you're saying. You just said it.
He's going to be a part of that training.
At some point between now and when that training starts, he's going to come back and be an officer in this town.
I can't say that.
But that's what you just said.
He's not going to be reprimanded for the way he treated Mr. Flood. His vulgar language, for one thing, his abuse,
That's part of the training.
that's not a good cop.
The outrage, Rick, I think, other than the video and the proof. I mean, if there was no video, we wouldn't be here because it would be a story. It would be hearsay. But the outrage, I think, is the stories you hear from these young and old that have been tolerating his abuse for years. I mean, him pulling people over and demanding verbally, you need to respect me. I had a friend of mine who's a PhD nutritionist say, I was just leaving someone's house. He pulled me over and immediately started telling me how I need to respect him. That is a huge liability for Filer.
Right.
I mean, do you think we're BSing you guys when we say this stuff?
Nope, not at all.
Is all that taken seriously from every one of you? I mean, it's not acceptable. He's an officer of the law. He's somebody who gets our respect automatically. He don't need to tell us to respect him. We automatically do. And if someone doesn't, there's a problem.
Right.
I mean, I teach my kids, when you get pulled over, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, sir. This cop, if you act like that, you're not safe. You look at him wrong, and he's going to start getting on your butt, and he's going to start putting his hand on his gun, and there's going to be a problem. That's just the way this cop acts. My wife's been through it with him over and over and over again. She's
Got his hand on his gun.
She's like, I stopped at the stop sign, and I didn't roll through the stop sign. He pulled me. How many times have you been pulled over for running a stop sign?
Too many.
And we've even said, we've just complained to each other about him. My wife said, you know what? We need to stop. One of these days, he's going to save our life. And this is how much extra respect we've given him. This was it. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. We want something done. And dog training is not all the guy needs.
I agree.
He needs much more than dog training. He needs to learn.
What we're doing for
He needs to be taught, first of all, that his position of authority is one that he needs to take seriously. It's not something you go throwing around your power to show him how big and bad you are. That's not what the job calls for. That's what he does.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. So, any
In one ear and out the other.
changes? Nope, okay. Yes, sir.
Will we know when he's back on the force?
I'll have to visit with actually Fritz on that to know how that happens. Okay, 'cause I don't know how that happens. So I'll have to visit with Lauren. What we can do legally, we will do.
Mike Preston, don't you think after 10 years plus on the force of being a cop, you should be trained? I mean, even if you didn't get specific training, you should know how to conduct yourself and what to do in a situation. 10 years is a long time to be a cop plus what he's done before with being a cop.
Right.
He shouldn't need a whole lot of training. He's been through life training.
Right.
And just, I see this all the time. Somebody gets hurt, first thing they squawk, we didn't get trained, we didn't sign. Well, if they've been on the job very long at all, they should have already been trained as the way you do stuff.
I'm Bonnie Dietrich. I realize that he is a thing and it's a legal thing if you just let him go. We got lots of money involved here and breaking his contract and all of this, but as a citizen, I would feel better paying him whatever it is just to get him off the force and out of Filer than to keep trying to train a bad apple.
I appreciate that, thank you.
I got one more thing to say.
Yes, sir.
Justin's been to my house. Jason's been to my house, excuse me, I called him Justin, that's my son's name. Jason's been to my house before, he's been very respectful. Very respectful. Tark's been to my house before, he's an ass. Why is he so respectful and why is he not? If they haven't, either one of them had training. Why can he be so respectable to somebody and he can't? Either one of them's not been trained.
I can't
Because he's
answer
a
that.
gentleman and the other's a jerk.
What's your answer?
I said I can't answer that.
Yeah.
So, okay, anything else? All right, I would entertain a motion to, no, do we need to have a vote on this, or no? No, okay. I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this meeting's adjourned.